Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. Thank you for joining me. Today, we're diving deep into the escape from Lauderdale County Detention Center, where Casey Wright, inmate charged with capital murder, was in this detention center waiting for his court date. And now it looks like he has escaped and he wasn't alone. He had help from someone who worked there who just filed her retirement papers. The next day, she's gone. Crazy story. And so we're going to be diving deep into what do we know right now. If this is the type of content you like to follow, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for subscribing. We're diving deep into this strange case of this escaped inmate who looks to have had help from an officer, assistant director of Lauderdale County Detention Center. There is a manhunt underway right now for an escaped Alabama inmate and a missing corrections officer. The U.S. Marshals Service is offering a reward of up to $10,000 for any information leading to the capture of this inmate who was previously jailed for capital murder and the location of the missing and endangered officer. Assistant Director of Corrections, Vicky White, she has disappeared while escorting inmate Casey White from the Lauderdale County Detention Center in Florence, Alabama. This is about 75 miles west of Huntsville, Alabama. If you notice, Casey White, Vicky White, not related. Looks like they may have had a relationship of some kind, but they are not related. So though they have the same last name, they are not related. Here is what we know. All indications are showing that Vicky White, who has worked for the sheriff's office for 25 years, assisted in the escape, but it is unclear whether she did so willingly or if Casey White coerced her into doing so by threatening her and or her family or any other means. This is according to sheriff's statement. Now, investigators are they're scouring any footage, any video, anything that helps lead to what has happened here. So they're going through all of his phone calls, looking into any previous interactions between him and Vicky to determine whether the escape was premeditated or not. So here's a timeline and we'll catch you completely up to what we know thus far. 8:47 a.m. Friday, April 29th, transport van number 5 leaves the detention center with 7 inmates escorted by 2 deputies. At 8:56 a.m., transport van number 2 leaves the detention center with 5 inmates escorted by 2 deputies. At 9:20 a.m., Vicky White, again, assistant director of the corrections center, she instructs a corrections deputy to prepare Casey White for transport to the courthouse. The deputy then removes Casey White from his jail cell and takes him to booking, where the deputy places handcuffs on him and shackles his legs. At 9:41 a.m., Vicky White leaves the detention center with Casey White in a patrol car for an inmate mental health evaluation. Prior to leaving, Vicky White tells the booking officer that she is the only deputy available who is firearm certified and that she is dropping him off to other deputies at the courthouse and would then be going to Med Plus, which is an urgent care center, because she is not feeling well. At 11:34 a.m., a police officer with the Florence Police Department, unaware of the situation at this time, spots the patrol vehicle in a parking lot near cars that are for sale. At 3:30 p.m., a booking officer reports to detention center administration that they have been trying to contact Vicky White to check on her, but that her phone is going directly to voicemail. The booking officer also advises that inmate Casey White has not returned to the detention center with the other inmates. The administration contacts the sheriff's office and officers begin a search of the courthouse to determine whether Casey White is still in the building. Over the next several minutes, they determined that Casey White was not in the courthouse and that there was not a court appearance or evaluation scheduled. Security footage shows that Vicky White never arrived at the courthouse. After a national bulletin is released with details of Casey White and Vicky White, a witness reports that she saw the patrol car on her lunch break at a shopping center. Deputies then retrieve the patrol car but do not find any information on their whereabouts. At 5:30 p.m., about 20 agents from the U.S. Marshals, the FBI, the ATF, the Secret Service, and the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency join the investigation. On Saturday, April 30th, the son of Connie Ridgway, this is the woman that Casey White is accused of killing, he tells a news affiliate station that he is in disbelief that his mother's accused killer is on the loose. Austin Williams, the son, he says, "I'm shocked," he tells the station after Casey White had been on the run for at least 24 hours. He says, "I mean, how is that even possible that someone with that rap sheet got out that easily?" Sheriff Singleton announces during a press conference that it was a strict violation of policy for Vicky White to be alone with an inmate, adding that Casey White should have been escorted by 2 deputies given his charges. In her role as Assistant Director of Corrections, Vicky White is in charge of coordinating transportation between the detention center and the court. That's what Sheriff Singleton said. The breach of protocol wasn't flagged by her employees. That evening, Sheriff Singleton tells ABC News that it appears the escape was orchestrated. Casey White previously had planned to escape the Lauderdale County Detention Center in the fall of 2020, but officials stopped the plot before he could attempt it. When prison officials got word of the plot, they found a homemade knife in his possession and learned that he was planning to take a hostage. Casey White was subsequently transferred to a state prison where he remained until early this year and would return to the Lauderdale County facility for court appearances related to the murder. According to Sheriff Singleton, he says that Vicky White is an exemplary employee who is well liked by all her colleagues. She interacts with inmates several times a day as part of her job. And he even added that he is unaware of any kind of relationship between Vicky White and Casey White. He said they are very concerned for her safety. This was then. This was Saturday, April 30th. On Sunday, May 1st, that morning, the U.S. Marshals Service announces a reward up to $10,000 for information leading to the capture for Casey White. U.S. Marshal Marty Keeley, he said in a statement, Casey White is believed to be a serious threat to the corrections officer and the public. That afternoon, Sheriff Singleton tells ABC News that Vicky White had been talking about retiring for 3 or 4 months prior to the escape. She turned in her paperwork the day before the escape. And that day that they escaped, that Friday, that was to be her last day of work. Definitely seems coordinated. So that's what we know as of those first 3 days, from Friday through Sunday, May 1st, since the escape. Since then, a warrant has been issued for the corrections officer who disappeared with the inmate on the day she was set to retire. Now she is wanted on a charge of permitting or facilitating the escape of capital murder suspect Casey White from the Lauderdale County Jail in Alabama. Sheriff Singleton says, "We know she participated in his escape. Whether she did that willingly or was coerced or threatened, we're not really sure, but we know for sure she did participate." Singleton said Vicky White had talked about retiring for months, musing about all the time she'd spend on the beach. She had sold her house, and her last day of work as a Lauderdale County correction officer was supposed to be the Friday of the escape. He says, "This is not the Vicky White we know by any stretch of the imagination. Everybody thought she was going to retire. Nobody saw this coming." He said that all possibilities regarding the relationship between the two are being investigated, including a romantic one. And Casey White, as I mentioned earlier, he was charged with 2 counts of capital murder in September 2020 in the stabbing of Connie Ridgway, who was taken at the young age of 58 years old. Plenty of life to live, plenty of love to give. This coward took her life way too soon. He was already in jail with this connection. And he was in jail in connection with a 2015 home invasion, carjacking, and a police chase. This is what Connie Ridgway's son was saying, that how could they not have closer eyes on this guy? And the 2013 Ford Taurus patrol car that they traveled in was later found at a shopping center. Hopefully they got some cameras on that shopping center to see, did they go in another vehicle? Because there's no way they're on foot. They had a plan for this. It really sounds like they had this thing planned out. If they're not caught by now, they had this thing planned out. Casey White, he is 6'9", weighs about 260 pounds, and has brown hair and hazel eyes. He's not easy to miss. He is hard to miss. He is a large individual and he will stand out, according to Sheriff Singleton. And they say he is dangerous. And because she had, I believe, a 9mm gun, they're saying that he is armed with this gun. So don't approach him. Call 911 if you see any of these two. He confessed to the stabbing death of Connie Ridgway. Rest in peace, Connie Ridgway. And the Marshals Service said people with information about Casey White's location or Vicky White's disappearance can call the service at 1-800-336-0102. That's 1-800-336-0102. And anonymous tips may also be submitted through the U.S. Marshals Tip app. So if you know something, please share. You know, in his 2015 crime spree, he was serving a 75-year sentence for this 2015 crime spree that went across 2 states, where he shot 1 person and held 6 at gunpoint. So he was already going to be in there for that. But here he was awaiting trial over the stabbing death that he did confess to of the 58-year-old woman that same year of 2015. Connie Ridgway, she was found stabbed to death in her apartment in Rogersville, Alabama on October 23rd, 2015. This case went unsolved for 5 years until Mr. White sent a letter to authorities confessing to the crime. At the time, he was already behind bars serving a 75-year sentence after being convicted of a crime spree in both Alabama and Tennessee, including a home invasion, carjacking, and a police chase. And so in 2020, he was charged with 2 counts of capital murder over the killing of Miss Ridgway. And this comes as such a shock for so many about the corrections officer, Vicky White. You know, as Sheriff Singleton said, she was an exemplary employee, and she worked for the department overall for 25 years, and she had been voted supervisor, or employee of the year in 4 of the last 7 years. So this definitely comes as a surprise to many people. How could she do this? I have no clue. But it is done. Now we need to find these two. Again, there's always 2 sides to every story. Let's hear her side out. But right now, it looks like she helped him escape. But was she coerced? Was it a romantic thing? This is a developing story, and news will continue to come out. If this is something you guys want to follow, make sure you smash that subscribe button. That way I know, hey, they like this story. Let me keep sharing more on this story. My friends, I'm Manny Rodriguez. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have an amazing, amazing day. Be safe out there, my friends. Peace.